Hello and welcome to the Control Zone, the video game podcast that covers everything from Frogger to FIFA. And this is episode 7.
Sorry, mate. I always look forward to your what it covers from and to.
Absolutely. You're ruining my intro, man.
Sorry, yeah.
I am your co-host, Rob, aka King79, and you've heard him already, but with me as always is my other co-host.
Hello. It's Ricky32 here. How is everybody?
Yes, I'm all good.
Good.
We've started it as we mean to go on a shambles.
Yeah. Good.
So
yeah.
Back with another episode. We didn't know whether we were going to get this one recorded this week, but the fates have aligned to allow us to record. Without further ado, Ricky, what have you been up to?
Well, first of all, Rob, I'd like to say a big thanks to Simon for last week. Was it last Saturday we recorded, or was it one before when he?
I think it was. Yeah, I think it was 2 Saturdays ago.
Yeah, it was, wasn't it? Yeah. Big thanks to Si for jumping on that week. It was good fun, and listening to it back was rather quite enjoyable. I thought. I forgot there were quite a few mispronounced words during the podcast, which I quite enjoyed hearing again. But yes,
it's very good, very good, and thanks, Si. And I'm sure Si will be back in the future.
Yeah, definitely to have him back. Right, so what have I been up to? Right, well, so when we spoke last time, I was preparing for a trip to Russia, and I've been, and I'm back. So, in the meantime, whilst I was going to Russia, Russia was going to the Ukraine. So, naturally, there is some serious stuff going on in that part of the world.
Indeed.
Yeah, and of course, all my family and everyone was like, "Oh my God, what are you gonna? Are you okay? Are you okay?" In fact, my mother sent me a message to say, "We're really worried about you. Is everything all right?" And I said, "Yeah, it's fine. They measured me for my helmet today, and tomorrow I've got target practice." she wasn't too amused, so she said, "Obviously, by your humour, everything's fine." I went, "Yeah, it'll be all right." So, the Muscovites, they don't give a shit. They were like, don't care. They were like, yeah, whatever. If something goes down, we'll just blow up the gas pipes. Like, oh, really? Okay. Because apparently Russia's one of the major gas exporters, isn't it, around
it is,
Europe?
yeah.
So, and they have their main pipes go through the Ukraine. So
it's
very interesting to sort of say, well, if it really does go against us, we'll just blow the pipes up, keep our gas, keep our ball. So I had quite an uneventful, sort of trip out there. Normal process, flying out, and halfway through the week, I got really sick.
Oh dear.
Yeah, so I actually ended up doing 3 days out of 5 working.
Okay.
2 of them I had the old 2 bobs.
Right.
So I was sort of confined to my hotel room, which is a bit bad. My translator blamed it on the immigrants. Why I got sick, he said they just bring their disease, and they work in catering, and we all get rotavirus. so he says, you stay away from me. So so 2 days I became pretty poorly, and
okay.
So it allowed me to do a little bit of gaming, not much. I didn't get a lot done, unfortunately.
Whilst you're on the shitter.
Yeah, exactly. Well, I could take the Vita there, but
yeah.
Yeah, I know. I completed Dark Souls. No, not really. But
playing battle shits.
Yeah, battle shits. Did you say?
Yeah.
Indeed. So if you've got any other toilet-related games, send them in. That's the Control
Zone Pod. Yeah.
So I spent a couple of days getting sick, and then of course I then tried to get home. So it was interesting when I kind of got kicked out of the hotel about 2 o'clock. So my room, I had the junior suite again, so it was like an apartment, top floor, very nice indeed. So I got a late checkout,
yeah,
which was kind of helpful.
This was Friday, yeah?
Yeah, yesterday.
Yeah, yeah.
So my flight wasn't until 20 to 10. So
Last
I
night.
got kicked out at 2. Well,
Yeah.
checked out. I didn't didn't forcibly kick me
Mm.
out. And so off to the airport I headed. I jumped on the metro, 5 stops, jumped on a sort of bullet train to the airport. So I got to the
Mm.
airport about 4, half 3, 4 o'clock, and I kind of had like 4.5 hours. In fact, it might have even been half 3. Had about
Mm.
5.5 hours to kill. 5 hours just sit around at the airport, sort of waiting, and it's not. And when you're not feeling well either, it's rubbish. So
Yeah,
spoke
yeah.
spoke to my work. They I felt I had a really poorly upset, you know, stomach. And
Mm.
I spoke to my work, and they were like, right, okay, don't worry, what we'll do is we'll fly you to Austria, and there you can get another flight to Munich. And I'm like,
Mm.
hang on, one flight's going to do me in, you want me to get on 3 just so I can get home 20 minutes earlier than I would plan
Yeah,
to, and then they sort of say, oh, okay, well, get yourself the executive, business lounge, just so you got some comfort. And so I tried to
yeah.
check in, and of course, I think everybody is leaving Moscow at the moment, so
Hmm.
there was no room. So there we are. So I kind of had a bite to eat and what I could, and just sort of chilled out, listening to podcasts and a bit
Mm.
of music, played a bit of Vita, did all that, and then we tried to leave, and of course there was a lot of paperwork hang up because we had a technical fault with the plane, which
Ah,
is never
right.
very good. And
No.
so we in fact they shuttled us out to the plane, and we waited on the bus for about 45 minutes, stood up on one of those shuttle buses, which is not very nice. And then we sat in the seat for another hour and a half on the plane. So about 2 hours from the point, right, we're ready to board you, to finally taking off.
Yeah.
And took off eventually, and pretty rough flight it was. The old turbulence cruising level was nearly 4 hours of
Really?
constant up, down, left, right.
God.
It was okay. I managed to get through. I wasn't too bad. My stomach held out, which was pretty. That's always the worst thing. I don't know. You've flown a couple of times, have you, Rob, in the
Yeah,
past?
no,
Yeah.
I've done a few times. I've only ever done a couple of long haul trips. I've been
Right.
out to Canada a couple of times, but
Yeah. I think my biggest fear was having an attack of the old downstairs
yeah.
on
I
a.
was going to say if you were like waiting around for that long,
Mm.
must have been interesting.
Yeah, well, it was, but I managed to hold out. I had
Mm.
some South Park on the old iPad, which was keeping me going, which was
Mm.
nice. And it landed. So we landed 2 hours later. Got into my hotel at Gatwick at about midnight, or sort of
Okay.
half 12 this morning, because I didn't travel home straight from the airport.
Yeah.
So and this is the worst bit about the whole journey. I set off this morning to come home,
Mm.
and I don't know if you know, there's major rail works going on over the
There is.
next 3 months
Yeah.
south. So
Yes.
London to sort of the
Right
southwest
to the
is
forest and Southampton and stuff. Yeah.
going to be a frigging nightmare. And
Mm.
so first of all, couldn't find the direct train like I normally can. So that was my first issue. I was getting a bit panicky. I was like, oh, I've got to get home. And then they said, oh no, they've closed a load of the lines down. So what you're going to have to do is you're going to have to get a train to Littlehampton, which
Mm.
is, God, I don't know where that is, near Brighton somewhere, so that way maybe,
Yeah.
Sussex.
Yeah.
And at Littlehampton, you're going to get a coach
Yeah.
to take you to Southampton. And so, at the end of the day, my journey from the airport to home was actually longer than my flight to Russia. So I left at 8:30 this morning from the hotel, and I got home at 2:30 this
Oh my
afternoon. Well,
God.
I sent you a message, didn't I, to say
You
that
did.
"Ooh,
Yeah.
it could be a bit dodgy to record tonight, because
Yeah.
just my whole experience was crazy.
That's
So
ridiculous.
yeah. So
That,
anyway,
that,
when I was in Russia, I bought the daughters some. I bought Millie some Russian dolls. The
yeah.
nesting dolls where there's
Yeah.
and then, I found one set, and it came to 1,400 rubles, which was about
The babushka dolls. Yeah.
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
that's it, yeah,
Yeah.
they're about, I think it cost about 23 quid. So I got a bit carried away, and I started thinking, "Oh, these are cheap." So I pointed one out. I said, I'll have that one there." And what I read was 1,200 rubles,
Mm.
and so he started bagging it up for me, and then he told me how much the cost was going to be, and he said, "Oh, that's going to be 23,000." And I was like, "Whoa, whoa, 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 hang on." I know the Russians are good at a bribe, and ripping you off, but how can I go from 1,000 to 23? And I'd actually misread the sign, and it was 12,000 rubles. So
Right.
so from going from £23 from the original, these Russian dolls were going to cost me
200 quid.
400 pounds. Like, like two bits of wooden. They're just shit. These dolls. I know they're traditional and all that. So I was like, "Oh no, you better put it back." And I bought some like cheap pencils for for about a quid.
Oh,
So
you could just like bought some off eBay or something and pretended they're from Russia.
the worst thing about it, I mean, I because I wasn't well, I couldn't get out to the markets, the
Mm.
flea markets, where they cost about, I don't know, a fiver.
Yeah.
So the same thing's about a fiver, but in the hotel they know that you're an idiot.
Mm.
So £397 it came to. I was like, oh.
Oh, I mean, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, indeed. Yeah. So yeah, that's the whole Russian experience, and I don't know yet, but I'm going back there next Saturday. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Let's just hope World War Three isn't breaking out there.
Well, I'm kind of
So,
hoping in the next week it will,
yeah.
and then I won't have to go. So, but when I go back, I've got to go to a little town called Tvay, which
Chernobyl.
is Chernobyl. Yeah, yeah, it's a tiny little
Well,
place.
that's in Ukraine, actually, isn't it? No, not in Russia.
It is indeed. Yeah, I think the Russians are quite happy for them to keep that, aren't they?
Yeah.
You can have that bit. Keep that bit. We don't want that. So yeah, so that's been my main week. Now, just before I left, I did pick up a new gamepad for my gaming experience
Hmm.
for Steam and PC, because in the past I'd used the old PS3 controller. I don't know if you've seen them. They're the wireless PlayStation 3 controllers,
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
which I worked because they had a USB charging cable. You could plug it into the PC and away you go. And in fact, you could even use a Bluetooth dongle to play with it. And I think it's common sort of consensus over the years that the PlayStation 3 controller wasn't the best. I don't know if you've ever
Mm.
used one. The triggers at the back were a little bit
No, do you know I've never
rubbish.
actually played on the PS3.
Well, the Xbox triggers, like the shooting games, the firing
Yeah,
triggers. They got that real nice trigger. It's like a trigger, isn't it? It's got
it
the
is. Yeah.
sort of wraps around your finger, whereas the PlayStation one, it's curved the other way, so your finger will, when you press it,
Okay.
it will slip down.
Sticks out. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so there's no, and I think you could get little bolt-ons to sort of make it avoidable, but
Right.
it was good and it did the job. But I managed to get myself a. Bonnie's just come in the room, so I might have to lie about the price. So I picked up an Xbox 360 wired PC controller. So
Okay.
it's an identical 360 pad, but
Just
it's specially for
USB. Yeah.
it. Yeah, it's USB.
Mm.
You can actually use it on a 360. It works that way, but you can't use the wired. If you've got a charging cable for your 360 controller, that doesn't work on the
Yeah.
PC. So it works one way, but not the other. So yeah,
Okay.
it's actually given me a little new light on all my games, because whilst they were good and enjoyable, I've actually now got a decent pad.
It does make a big difference
Mm. Oh yeah.
when you're PC gaming. I mean, I I do a lot of retro gaming on my laptop, and was using a sort of cheapy controller for a while, but now I've got one that is just a copy of a SNES controller.
Right.
So obviously no good for modern gaming, but for retro gaming, you just feel much more sort of into the game when you're actually holding a controller that resembles an
Definitely.
actual proper controller designed for that sort of game. So yeah, fair play.
Yeah, I mean it was quite pricey. It was 25 quid. But
Okay.
but I'm thinking, I am doing 90% of my gaming on the PC and
Yeah.
these days.
But
So it's worthwhile investment, I thought.
yeah, it's comparable to an Xbox 360 controller, isn't it? So
Yeah, it's a beautiful controller. I mean, I would imagine the next gen controllers, they've upped the ante a little bit. I think the new PlayStation one's deemed slightly a much better improvement on the last one. I think the Xbox One has continued with the good feel of the previous one. So so it's actually nice to get something worthwhile playing. I've actually got it here in my hands now.
Cool.
It's nice to touch. It's a good weight. I think that's the difference. When you're playing a gaming, you want to know you've got something large. Anyway, I won't say that.
Something big in your hand.
Yeah, I think anyone who listens to this know where that was headed, and quickly did the old plus 15 seconds on the old iPad or iPhone. Okay, and finally, just before I give my throat a rest and let you have a chat, I picked up some more games that I've really yet to play. So I picked up Borderlands 2, The Darkness 2, which is meant to be very good. I don't know if you ever played the original Darkness.
I did. I completed it on the 360. It's very good.
The second one's meant to be more geared around the actual comic strip. So it's more comic. It's got more of a different graphical texture to it. So it's meant to be more leading towards that. So that it comes highly rated. I think I got those two for about £6, and because I bought the two together, they actually gave me I think it was GameFly chucked in Spec Ops: The Line for free if you bought a certain selection of games with a certain percentage off. So I managed to get sort of 3 Steam games there for about £6. And
very nice.
Finally, this week's Humble Bundle,
which
I haven't played yet, but I have played. It's a complete lie. I have played them before, but I don't actually own them on the PC. So every single game here I did not own, but I have owned all of these games on various formats, iOS to Xbox in the past. So for $1, okay, you can get on the Humble Bundle this week Peggle, Bejeweled 3, Bookworm, Feeding Frenzy 2, and a game called Escape Rosecliff Island. So for $1 or 60p, you can get all those games. And if you pay about £3.50, you can get Plants vs Zombies, Peggle Knights, and Zuma's Revenge. So old games, admittedly, games we already own countless amounts of times. I've bought Peggle so many times and Bejeweled in the past, and Plants vs Zombies. But I think it's worth plugging this one because all the money that you donate, whatever you choose to pay for it, even if it's $1 and you just pick up the first tier, all the money is going to cancer research foundations. So no money to the developers. So that's EA PopCap. They're not getting any money from this. And you can give some money to Humble Bundle, but you don't have to. So you can give all the money to the Cancer Foundation. So it's a pretty good, worthwhile trust this time. Cool. You're going to pick them up. So yeah, that's me. I haven't played any yet because I've only got back from Russia today. So of course, I've just downloaded them. They're about 150 meg for the lot, I think it was. So
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, so there we go. That's me. What have you been up to then, buddy?
Well, I haven't been internationally jet-setting like yourself, but it has been quite an eventful week. On the last podcast I mentioned, I think it was last one, or might be the one before, that I was going to be sticking my flat up on the market.
Yeah.
For a number of reasons really, but basically, looking to move where my kids are, and move out of Southampton. So finally got it on the market this week. I think it was Tuesday. It went on the market, and 3 days later, it sold.
Wow. Incredible. That's how long it took us to, I think, to sell my father's place.
Yeah.
So things are going. Yeah, good.
Yes, very much so. I mean, it's a sort of a first-time buyer kind of place. It's a 2-bed flat. Although it was a couple with a young child who ended up buying it, but they were the first people that looked at it. And they put in an offer. Basically, we put it on the market for a few thousand under what we wanted to get. A few thousand over what we wanted to get, so that when people made an offer, it would hit what we wanted to get. And they came in sort of £1,000 under what we wanted. We said, come increase your offer by £1,000. It's yours. They did. It was sold.
Fantastic.
So yeah, just the one viewing. They were here for half an hour, so that was always a good sign.
Yeah,
When
yeah.
if you're spending half an hour looking around a 2-bedroom flat, chances are you probably quite like it.
Yeah, 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 might
Um,
be. Yeah.
yeah.
I
So
suppose it's because you've got no chain, have you? So that can
no, I haven't. I'm
progress
I'm
quite well.
gonna move to Lymington over in the forest with my folks for a few months. See where the land lies and save a bit of cash and sort of go from there really. But yeah, I mean, the kids live on the island, as I said obviously before on the podcast, so I will be looking to move back over there at some point to be near them really. And it just just it's going to make money situation much better, and there'll be a bit more disposable income for games and toys and other such things.
You might be able to buy you might be able to buy a gamepad for that SNES you found, or 64, wasn't it?
N64,
N64.
yeah,
Yeah, a bit of extra cash.
exactly.
Car boot season's about to kick off.
Exactly. So no, it's all good. Definitely a positive thing. I didn't think it would go as quickly as that. I hoped it would go sort of, you know, relatively quickly. It might have been sort of out of here by the summer, but obviously probably like to be out of here in by sort of end of May, if not
Wow,
before. So
brilliant. Well,
um,
give us a shout if you need a hand with anything.
yeah,
I'm sure I'll find somebody to help you.
you direct me to the yellow pages.
I
Yeah,
will. Yes, yeah. No,
yeah. No, it's not
if I
massive.
can, I will. All right.
I can condense stuff down relatively easily, so it shouldn't be too bad. But yeah, that's obviously a good thing. The other sort of cool thing was the day of the house sold. I got a call from Vodafone, who my iPhone is with, and they were basically sort of doing one of their sort of sales calls. We're pleased you've been a customer for a year or whatever, because I'm on a sort of couple of year contract, and it literally just come out in the first year with them. It's like, yes, what are you selling? Oh no, we're just checking. Is there anything we can do? And I ended up sort of tweaking my contract slightly and increased my sort of download limit a little bit, because I was go over it every month, but only slightly. And they said, oh, we are doing an offer at the moment. I'm not trying to say anything, but if you're interested in a free iPad Air. I was like, a free iPad Air? Go on. And he sort of basically did all this spiel, but it's they basically do sort of a contract with this iPad, which is very reasonable, with 4 gig of download data a month.
That's all right. Yeah.
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 For £30 a month, and you got the iPad free, which when that's like 400 odd quid.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
and I was like, yeah, sod it. I mean,
brilliant.
it's kind of a luxury in a sense. It's not something that I particularly need, but my laptop is definitely on its last leg, so I don't ever use a laptop for anything really, apart from podcasting and editing videos.
Yeah. Are you talking to me now through that iPad Air?
No, I'm not.
Oh, okay.
You can obviously do Skype through it,
Yeah.
and I will probably the next podcast we do, I will record through that.
Yeah, give us a try. Yeah.
The reason, the reason I'm not doing it for it is because obviously the speaker will come out into the room. I know you can put phone headphones and stuff in it, but it's just with the kids next door asleep. I don't want your dulcet tones to wake them up.
Sorry, I'll talk a bit quieter then.
That's all right. I've got a headset on.
Okay, good.
But I reckon the mic quality. I mean, having done a playback test on Skype, it does seem to be better quality than this setup. So it might actually be better for podcasting. I've already downloaded iMovie onto it. Had a little bit of play around with it, so I could probably do my video editing on it as well. Obviously, for internet browsing and stuff, it's much better than my smartphone, and way quicker than this old laptop. So I was looking to replace the laptop with another one, but I probably won't bother now, because the iPad's basically going to fill that hole.
Brilliant. How much gig has it got, did you say?
It's the smallest one. It's only 16 gig, but if you think about everything is streamed now, you don't really need the storage space.
Absolutely. Yeah.
and my music and stuff I will keep stored on the laptop, and then if I want to, stick some tunes onto the iPad, I can do that as and when.
Mm.
Um, but I did try and play around and sort of put stuff into Box, and I was struggling a bit. So I think I'm going to have to do it the traditional way and just plug it into the laptop.
Oh right, okay, yeah, because you mentioned you were going to upload to the cloud, didn't you? And
Yeah.
take about 90% of my storage space up there just for a couple of days. But okay.
Yeah, I was tempted to do that, but
Right.
I sort of couldn't get my head around it. And to be honest, I thought the storage was going to be the next one up, so it would have been a bit daft to completely fill the memory up with music, when I can probably put in sort of 4 or 5 gigs worth of stuff at a time and sort of cycle through it when I get bored with the stuff. So yeah, I mean, 16 gig, okay, it's not massive storage, but like I say, everything's streamed, like sort of Netflix, YouTube, iPlayer and stuff. You don't really need the storage, do you?
No.
But watched a couple of videos on it. So much better than watching it on the laptop. Much better screen quality. It's
Yeah.
so light as well. One would say it's almost as light as air.
Wow. I wonder how that would. Wonder how they thought after the name of that. It's almost like you work for their marketing department.
Exactly.
Did you say you got it for free?
It's free. Yeah, it's
Yeah,
free.
that's good.
So basically, I'm just paying £30 a month for their 4 gig browsing, roaming data, whatever they call it. When you're out and about.
Yeah.
Which is fine. It's really good.
Yeah, that's right.
Considering my iPhone is £32, and that's 1 gig. Obviously,
Yeah.
I've got other stuff with it, but I thought it was very, very reasonable. So guy off the street comes into Vodafone, wants to do that deal. It cost him £100 to get the
Right.
iPad, and the deal, I think he said it was £39 normally. So it's quite a big saving.
Okay.
But yeah, 2-year contract. But if you buy one of these sort of up front, I think they're in the region of £400. So I thought, sod it, why not?
Yeah, brilliant. Because when I actually saw the message when you sent me that, I thought you got what is it? An iMac. I read it as iMac.
Oh, no,
And I
not
thought, oh bloody hell, he's got himself a new a new machine, and it's like, oh wow.
No, that will be a luxury purchase. I mean, I will at some point. I will upgrade to laptop, but it's certainly not as pressing as it perhaps was before.
Yeah.
Before now,
Okay.
but yes, at some point,
Cool.
longest in the future. But my next sort of big purchase is going to be a next gen console. It's not going to be a laptop now. That was going to be the laptop was going to take priority. But now with this iPad, I think I'll keep going as I am and put the monies elsewhere. But
yeah, definitely. It shouldn't hold. I suppose if you can just get, like you say, the headset that would work with the iPad, then I don't see any reason why you can't use it to record this. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And one of the things I've noticed as well is the speaker quality is amazing. When you have an iPhone on sort of speaker mode and you're playing music, it's okay, but it's kind of a bit tinny.
Yeah, it's loud enough. Yeah.
Yeah, this is brilliant. This is like having a stereo in your room. So, when I was browsing earlier and messing about, I had a few tunes playing, and it's brilliant.
Cool.
So yeah, but no, very, very happy with it. And also, I've obviously done some gaming on it as well.
Yes, good.
Brought it across my iTunes games that I've already got. So Streets of Rage 2 and Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah.
I haven't played Dungeon Keeper yet on it, but I've played Streets of Rage and Secret of Mana. And it's so much better just for the fact that the screen is much bigger. It's very, very fiddly, particularly on Secret of Mana, very, very fiddly on that little screen. So
I've almost abandoned my iPhone as for a gaming machine. I mean, because there's a couple of games that are worth playing. Like I suppose some of the PopGap stuff, which I mentioned earlier, like the Bejeweled and the Peggle. I mean, it's because it's not very intense and it's a bit more casual, isn't it? And I can see how people play a bit of cards on there, but other than that, I mean, if you want to play anything with any power, it's no good. I mean, I've got there's a board game. Ticket to Ride, which I absolutely love, and in fact, mate, Ticket to Ride Europe's free at the moment on iOS. So if you've never played it, it's worth checking out. It's really good, especially on the iPad. The iPad has some amazing board games. conversions. Really, really good stuff. But yeah, Ticket to Ride, get it, mate. It's good. The difference between that type of game on the iPad is night and day to playing it on the iPhone. I mean,
Yeah,
it's the same game, but it's the experiences.
yeah, exactly. I mean, the older games aren't in sort of high def, but you don't need to because it's the same experience as sort of playing it on the old tellies back in the day. I mean, these games weren't made in high def, so it doesn't really matter too much.
Yeah, that's right.
Dungeon Keeper, I'll talk about that a bit in what we've been playing because I have played it, but
Mhm.
that'll be interesting to see how that is on the iPad because we've only played on the iPhone so far. But so yeah, so that's pretty much my week really. Kids
Good.
came over Thursday, so they've been over a few days, just been chilling out. Well, I say chilling out, going crazy with the kids, you know how it is.
Yeah.
That's pretty much me done for what I've been up to. So, what have you been playing this week?
Okay.
Um,
Yeah, well, it's 2 weeks since we last recorded, so you think we'd have this huge list,
yeah,
of stuff we've been playing, but unfortunately, mine's just a very small list. And
mm,
so it started off with a really, really cool game I picked up, and this one swept under my radar. I knew of it, I knew of its existence, but didn't know it was in this genre. And the game is State of Decay on the PC. I'm pretty sure you can get it on the 360 as well. Um, it is a zombie survival RPG.
yes, that is on 360. Yeah,
Yeah,
mm,
and it plays very, very well. I mean, it's horrendously buggy in places, but because it's this such a vast world that you get to explore, where it's all about the survival and the doing the quests. So it's very linear. It's offline. You see, now there is an equivalent to this, and I think it's called Daisy
okay.
on the PC. I don't think that's made it anywhere else. And this is that Daisy is the online version
Mm,
or the online game of this genre, where the main risk comes from other people who are alive, not the zombies. The zombies do exist in the world, but
yeah,
it's the other people. So State of Decay is the more story-driven offline version, and it's very good. I mean, it plays a bit like the Walking Dead simulator. You know, the actual TV show
yes,
where you got missions to go and sort of get supplies and avoid the zombies, and it's a really good fun game. It plays very well on the PC. You can upscale the graphics to its highest performance, which outweighs the Xbox 360 version quite a lot, which is
okay,
handy. Yeah, so the idea is obviously you've got to survive. You've got to create gain a group of people. So as you visit various towns, you can recruit people to join your clan, I suppose it is. And then once you get them to join you, you can scroll through them in the list when you press the start button and bring up the old menu, and you can upgrade each character in your team. And yeah, it's just really good. I mean, I haven't got too far into the story. I'm about sort of an hour and a half to 2 hours in. Just having a lot of fun with it. It was less than £6, I think it was on the on Steam. I saw it. I think it's about 15 normally. I don't know what it is on.
yeah. I've seen it on Xbox Live a few times, and
Mm, mm. There's
yeah,
probably a
I haven't
demo.
played it, but yeah, I'm
Yeah,
sure there's a demo. Yeah, I haven't been
yeah,
checked it out, but that does sound pretty cool. Something a little bit different to the usual sort of
yep,
run around with a chainsaw kind of thing.
yeah. I
But
think because it's just got that. It's a very you play it at your own pace type of game. There's no real. There's a specified way of continuing the quest, but there's no right or wrong way to get to that end goal of each quest. You choose to be very stealth, or you can just go in, guns are blazing
mm,
and whatever. So, but of course, it's like any classic zombie game of this generation that we're in. The melee weapons is the way forward.
yeah,
As soon as you start using them guns or making a noise, even walking around makes a noise. When you're rummaging through things like fridges and drawers, you have to hold, I think it's the A button,
Yes.
and a little circle appears. When it's filled up the complete circle, you finish rummaging and you can see what you've been through. But I think you can rapidly press it and you'll speed up. But of course, the faster you rummage through stuff, the more noise you make, and you'd attract other people, other zombies. So it's quite a good little sort of mini game element there. But yeah, other than that, it's really good fun. You should check out the demo on the
Yeah,
360.
if there is one on 360, I
Hmm.
will give that a shout, definitely.
Yeah, I'd recommend this. I really want to get into some more of it, but it run like an old dog with two legs on my laptop,
Oh,
unfortunately. But on my on my gaming PC, it was absolutely super. When I'm on the road, some games are good. And for some reason, I can play Skyrim on the laptop really
right.
really well. Yeah, you know how intense that game can be.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, some just don't work. Borderlands 2 never just would not. It's the frame rates that were the problem. The
Oh,
game plays and loads and works normally, but the frame rate's so choppy, it's unplayable almost. So, but Skyrim plays at sort of mid to mid graphics, which is bizarre. And like the two Fallout games, they play absolutely fine as well.
really?
They are a bit older, I suppose. Could be that to it. So, something on my list that I did play. I jumped into had a couple of goes at have a couple of games on FIFA 14
Hmm.
as well. Just that's a good game to dip in and out of. So I played a bit of that over the last few weeks. Still got
I
my
haven't played it hardly at all since I got it.
yeah. I
Yeah,
think because we're outside the excitement of it's just been released and everyone's playing it,
yeah,
that's kind of gone now, isn't it? And you've only got the dedicated people who really love FIFA, or the weirdos who are making endless videos on YouTube about it.
yeah. I probably will, to be honest. I probably will trade it in and get something,
Yeah.
and I will play because I've got FIFA 13, which I started the season with,
Hmm.
and I couldn't be bothered to start a game with FIFA 14. And the differences were so negligible. I was just like,
Yeah. It's not worth it, is it?
so I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm a bit disillusioned with football games, but anyway.
Well, when I get my next gen machine, I will get the FIFA on it. I don't know why.
Mm.
It does look very good, and I remember our first ever recording of the Control Zone podcast when I was almost orgasming over the bloody replays, wasn't I?
Yeah.
I think I got a couple of friends. Obviously, Steve and his friend Dan. They used to take the piss out of me years ago because I used to woo over the net quality in the next Pro Evo. God, you got to see the nets, guys. They'd be like, "Oh, bloody hell!" So, yeah, we'll put FIFA 14 to a back burner. I had a little go. I've still got that bug where I get sacked. Yeah, so I kind of tried it. I got sacked on the PC after 2 games. So,
Yeah.
there's a bug on it, and it's the same on the laptop. So, I can play tournaments, but the career mode is just a little bit held up. So anyway, what else did I play? I played some more Splunky over the last couple of weeks. I know this is going over old ground,
Yeah.
but I managed to get out of the mines and into the jungle.
I still
And
haven't played it.
oh, mate, it's such a pick up and play. I mean, especially on the Vita
Mm.
because it is an identical game. Um, it, it, I'm just addicted to it. I can't get enough Splunk, mate. I need Splunk every day. I wake up and I need Splunk. So, oh, sorry, Splunky. Anyway,
Yeah.
so I was playing it at the airport. I was playing it on the PC. Obviously, there's
Flunking everywhere.
Splunking all over the screen.
Yeah.
By the way, we haven't been drinking yet tonight. So yeah, I made it into the jungle. It's level 1 where I immediately died, and but I managed to unlock the shortcut to the jungle. So now every time I turn it on the Vita, not on the PC, I
Mm.
can now go to level 2 straight away. So I can start my game there and try and progress through. And been watching a few online videos about how to kind of get around a few of the tougher, newer bosses that I've seen. But anybody who's seen my review on the Control Zone YouTube channel, I might stick another one up there in a week or so, just to kind of show you my next how I've improved. But Nobody will watch it. It might just be it's my own training zone. But yeah, Splunky. You know, if you see this on a sale, mate, for the Xbox, get it.
Yeah,
Just
I will if I
it's
see it.
your type of game. It
Mm.
really is.
No, it does look good. It does look good.
Yeah.
But yeah, it'll have to go down a bit, I think.
Yeah. Yeah. So finally,
I've
now,
just seen it. Yes, fine.
yes. Well, it's not complete, but I played episode 3 of The Walking Dead season 1. Now, I think
Hallelujah.
it's called the Long Road Ahead.
It would be, yes.
So I'm going to do that whirly swirly image now. Cast your mind back, Rob, to 8 years ago when you played it.
Diddle-doo, diddle-doo,
We'll
diddle-doo.
go back in time. Now, the Long Road Ahead. It continues that story at such a pace. The game
Mm,
is really picking up for me now. And I do like the fact that you can do, and I suppose with the Wolf Among Us and the
mm.
latest season 2 of The Walking Dead, you kind of need that previously on
Yes.
right at the beginning, because especially with what they're doing at the moment, you
Mm,
can't bloody remember what you did 2 months ago. And of course, I played The Walking Dead episode 2 about December,
mm.
so you know I'm picking up pace. I've got 3 more to go, but I just found this one. It just went on. I must have been playing it for 4.5 hours.
Which one's this one? Remind me which one. Is
Um,
this the one with the train?
yes,
Yeah.
yeah. I mean, it's a great concept with the train, but of course, it kind of, for me, it kept getting to that point. Oh, it's finishing. Oh no, it's not.
Yeah.
Oh, it's finishing. Oh no, we've got to keep going. You know.
Yeah,
So
because when the train starts, you think, oh, this is going to be the end. And
yeah,
then, no, it keeps going.
exactly. And you know, you know, it's really, and even when they manage to move, well, I won't do too many spoilers, but when they get past the obstacle that is preventing them, where you thought it was the end the first time, you think, oh well, it
Mm,
must be the end now, and then
mm.
it continues a little bit longer with sort of a bit of character building, doesn't it? With
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's
you know, so it's good.
it's the longest of. I'm sure it's the longest of the five.
Is
But
it? Okay.
are you like me that when you play an episode of that, you have to play it through in one sitting?
Oh
You
yeah,
can't.
I've done all my sittings have been right the way through. Now
Yeah.
I do have this on the Vita, and I really should play it on there. But I've been playing on the PC, so because that's where I've got my previous saves.
Yeah.
On the Vita, I have to go back to episode 1 if I want to kind of. I might replay it and do the, you know, let Duck die at the beginning,
Yeah.
rather than the farm.
Let him
Farmers.
die.
Yeah, and see how it kind of channels from that way. But yeah, I'm
Mm,
going to play episode 4 when I get a chance.
mm.
Maybe this week. Maybe not, because I've got bloody loads of other stuff to look at. But yeah, I think the good thing is they've released a couple of episodes of season 2 now, and I've heard on the grapevine of a couple of the reviews that episode 2 of season 2 is the best ever of this.
Cool.
They're really giving it some kudos. So
Yeah, no, I haven't started season 2 yet.
yeah,
I think I'll probably wait. I think I said last time I'll probably wait till they finish season 2 and get it all together.
that's
Because I'm enjoying The Wolf Among Us.
yep, good.
About that in a bit, but yeah, to have 2 games like that, it would annoy me to have to wait so long. So I'll play it all in one game. I haven't played the 400 Days one yet either. So.
Yeah, well, I've got that as well as part of my package on the Vita. So I certainly, I will get to give you a little opinion on that
Mm,
soon enough. But yeah,
cool.
a long time since we last did a podcast, and everyone's thinking 3 games. Is that
Yeah.
it? Anyway, what have you been playing, buddy?
Well, I haven't been playing many more than you, to be honest. I mentioned Lego Star Wars last time, and I've basically been putting in loads and loads of hours into the Lego Star Wars saga on the 360, which I hadn't played, as I say, since it first came out way back in like 2006 or something like that.
Uh-huh.
So although I could sort of remember it to a certain extent, some of the little puzzles and bits and pieces, I couldn't.
Excuse you.
No, that's my dog in the background.
Oh, yeah, they all say that.
Yeah. When I fart, it doesn't sound like a dog snoring, believe me. Yes, I basically went through that. I done all the episodes on the basic mode, just to clear them, and then I'm starting to go back now on the free play, just to get all the mini kits and red bricks and bits and bobs. Unlocking all the characters and the random achievements and stuff. But I've probably put in about 20 hours.
Jeez, really?
Yeah, it's quite crazy how much time you can put into it, because that's if you put that in sort of comparison to something like GTA or Mass Effect, that's a real good chunk through the game, and this I'm not even 50% through, I don't think. So yeah, I've really enjoyed it, and Lily had a go on it as well, which is cool.
Good.
So she's only 4, and she enjoyed playing around. She's been on the Lego City level, where you just go around smashing everything up.
That's right. Yeah, I love that one.
So the son's a little bit too young for it, but he had a go and was just running around, not quite sure how to control the characters.
Yeah, well, it's great for kids, isn't it? Because they get blown up, that's the death, but they're immediately back in the game and they know no difference, do they?
Yeah, exactly. But obviously, our kids are sort of a generation where a lot of gaming is done on tablets and phones, and you swipe things. You don't have a physical controller in your hand.
Yeah, that's true.
So let's sort of get used to that a little bit. But no, it's cool, and I think if she gets a bit more used to it, she'll probably play it a bit more, and maybe be a 2-player, and maybe get some of the other Lego games as well. Because I'll definitely plan to get the Marvel game and the movie game at some point in the future.
Yeah,
Sorry.
Sorry, just pausing there then. So you talk about this would be Joseph's first, pod using a gaming pad.
Yeah.
Game. Can you remember what yours was?
The first ever game I played.
Yeah. Can you think what it might have been?
Gosh. God. On a controller in the gamepad, it would be. Blimey. Probably Alex Kidd in Miracle World on the Master System that my mate had.
Yeah.
Because none of my mates ever had a NES.
Yeah.
But the first sort of actual game that I played with joystick would have been Dizzy on the C64.
Dizzy? Is that thing with the egg?
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Right, blimey.
I
think mine was a couple of games. I think that on the old Atari 2600, was it? The old where you plug these huge sort of cigarette packet size cartridges. Really sturdy machine. It really worked really well. Had a couple of games on there. I think I had Space Invaders using the old classic. I think it was one button controller.
Yeah, and they were all one button back in the day, weren't they?
Yeah, that's right. I don't even think you used the button, did you? On the pack, oh no, you did on Space Invaders and Pac-Man. I think those were the early games. But one I really remember because it was a really different control pad. I think it was a Super Breakout where it was a paddle. And the control pad had the button on the side. You held it like a radio control. You're speaking into the breaker 1919. Hey, how's your doobie? Whatever it is. But the paddle was on the top, and that's how you moved your little your little space bar thing at the bottom of the screen. And I think that was my first.
Yeah.
So imagine those graphics, right? Of Super Breakout. It was just a load of multicolored blocks and then Pong, wasn't it, basically, almost. And Joseph will be talking, your son might in 20 years' time and go, hey, God, I remember Lego Star Wars.
Exactly. I mean, who knows what games would be like in 20 years. But I remember sort of as a kid, I have real memories of sort of watching older kids play in the arcades and stuff, and not wanting to play it myself because A, I didn't really know how, and B, I was a bit sort of scared to do it. But actually enjoying watching other people play, and even when some of my friends got some systems at home, it was also to begin with, it was just sort of watching them play and enjoying that. So because I was quite late getting into gaming, I probably it would certainly have been sort of 89, 90 by the time I sort of really got into it with the Mega Drive. by which time, the likes of the NES have been out for about 4 or 5 years.
Yeah.
But hey, kids are getting into games a lot earlier, I think, than perhaps our generation did, because it's something you did first got into.
Well, it's in the house, isn't it now? Whereas before it was either really expensive in the house, or it was arcades down the fair, or the odd one in a chippy.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, they don't play masses of games, and I'd say, they keep an eye on it. But no, it's all good. It's all good. It's all part of modern day entertainment now, isn't it? Same as your telly and your DVDs and everything else. Gaming is part of the multimedia way of life.
Yeah, and long may it stay. Yeah, sorry about that, mate. It was just an interesting little thought I had as you mentioned.
That's
your
cool.
son's first gaming experience.
Absolutely. Well, we are retro after all in this podcast, so or half that. So.
Yeah, you should see my wardrobe.
Indeed. So the next game, I mentioned it briefly earlier, Dungeon Keeper.
Yeah, tell us about this one.
We mentioned it on the last podcast, and you told me it was free, and I immediately downloaded it whilst we were recording.
Yep. Yeah, no, I downloaded it as well whilst we were recording. I had turned it on, and it worked, and I haven't been back since. I tried to get it for the iPad. The iPad's too old. So tell me what it's like.
Okay, I've only played it on the iPhone. That's on 4S. It's fine. I've sort of gone through the tutorials. It's obviously a point-and-click game, strategic sort of game. The graphics have been vastly improved on what they were back in the sort of late 90s when it first came out. They've been revised and given a sort of HD shine. But it plays pretty well. I'm really not giving it enough time to sort of give a real critique of it. I think hopefully the next podcast that we do, I can probably do that. So I've sort of got to the point where I've sort of summoned my first few monsters for my dungeon and then attacked another dungeon and taken over his dungeon. So Hello. We've had some technical difficulties, I'm afraid. We had to end the podcast recording a little bit early, and we weren't able to get back and record again that evening. Ricky's now away working for the rest of the week, and my hours at work mean that I'm working most of the evenings the rest of the week, so I thought rather than wait another week before we got the podcast out, I would basically finish off the podcast myself, just so we've got something out there. So apologies, Ricky's not going to be on the rest of this podcast, this episode. Normal service will resume next episode. But basically, we were just talking about the games that I've been playing this week. Obviously mentioned Lego Star Wars and talked about Dungeon Keeper, which is a cool game. The problems, as I said, really are the fact that you've got to be connected online all the time to play it, because whenever you turn it on it looks for updates, connects online to basically update the game. And if you're not online, it doesn't appear to load the game up. I've only played it on iPhone, but I will be looking to play it on iPad over the next few days and see how it compares. But it's a cool game, but I definitely haven't given it enough of my time as yet to give it a proper review, as it were. Also been playing Wolf Among Us, episode 2, or chapter 2. It's, again, as Ricky and I said last episode, the storytelling is fantastic, moves the story along really nicely. I did feel it was kind of a little bit on the short side for the price that you pay, and compared to sort of the Walking Dead games episodes, where some of them are 3+ hours long. I think this one was well under the 2-hour mark. Didn't really have the kind of pace that the first episode had, but it's still cool. It's still moving the story along nicely. The frustrating thing is just the time delay, really, between all the episodes coming out. As we said, it seems to be like they're coming out every 3 months, and it's a heck of a long time between episodes. And I just hope that my interest is still there when we come to when we come to get the next episodes out, which I suppose by current calculations will be in about May. So yeah, quite a bit of a long time to wait, but it's still a great game. I'm still really enjoying it, and it's only $3.50 an episode, something like that. So it's definitely worth picking up if you haven't got into this series already. And the last game that I've picked up, which I probably will talk about a bit more next episode, so I want to get Ricky and Si's thoughts on it, if Si's on it as well. Double Dragon Neon on the Xbox 360, Xbox Live Arcade. Picked up the demo version of it. I will no doubt upgrade to the full version. It's an upgrade of the Double Dragon games, as you would think, and it really has that sort of 80s vibe to it. Lots of neon, as the name would suggest, and the 80s was, of course, very, very neon in all shapes and forms of the fashion sense, the music, and the movies and everything. So there's that kind of homage to the 80s in there. Great gameplay, great fighting engine. As anyone who's been listening to the podcast up to now will know, I'm a massive fan of the vintage style scrolling beat 'em up. So obviously I was gonna enjoy this, but I will talk about that a bit more next week when hopefully everyone is back together. We'll take a break now, and when I come back, we will have a little bit of news just to wrap up the podcast. Some retro news, a couple of modern stories as well. But until then, here's a little retro tune to see you through to the second half of the show. And grab yourself a brew, grab yourself a beer, sit down, chill out, and I'll be back in 5. Okay, welcome back, and thanks for still listening. That was a track called Dystopian Future, and as you can probably tell if you're a fan of vintage retro gaming, that was a jazz-styled cover of the Level 1 theme from Contra 3. Awesome vintage game from the SNES. I'm sure most of you will know that game very well, also known Super Pro Protector over here in Europe. Fantastic game. One of these days we will do a spotlight on it. I keep threatening to do it, but I'm not going to do a spotlight today on my own because that's just a little bit bizarre, a little bit sad. You know, talking on your own is an odd experience at the best of times, but I won't prolong your oral agony anymore. Let's crack on with some news. There are quite a few news stories to cover this week, so I did want to still get this podcast out there. We'll crack on straight on with my retro news. What I'll do, Ricky had a couple of news stories, modern news stories. What we'll do is save them until next episode, and he can go through those because there are a couple of cool stories. Which we'll talk about next time. Some retro news stories. First up, PS Solar, the very awesome Sega Mega Drive RPG that came out a few years back and is getting a HD relaunch. Watermelon Games have released the teaser trailer for the game, showing it in real time footage in action. It's coming out for the Dreamcast and on modern platforms as well. As I said, looks like it's probably going to be, well, certainly I would imagine on the 360, probably on the PlayStation as well, although the full details haven't been confirmed as yet. But it's coming out for the Dreamcast, which is a retro console in its own right, I suppose. It's been deceased for over 10 years. So if you've got a Dreamcast lurking around, then make sure you dust it off, because this is going to be one of the biggest games coming out for it, homebrew games coming out for it, probably ever, because it looks amazing. Dreamcast was a great machine. I did have it as a I did get one when they came out, pretty much when they first came out, but I didn't keep it for a great deal of time, because apart from sort of the likes of Shenmue, Power Stone, I never really invested lots of my time into that console. I ended up trading it in and getting a PlayStation 2 when GTA 3 came out back in the day. But anyway, that's irrelevant. PS Solar, it's looking fantastic. Obviously, it originally came out on the Mega Drive 3-4 years ago. I still haven't played it. It's terrible. It's really terrible that I haven't played it yet. But I will certainly be playing it. When it comes out of the 360. It's just very expensive to get on the Mega Drive now. But by all accounts, fantastic story, stunning visuals, and it's a really intricate combat system as well. So I'm sure the gameplay will remain just as great as it was in the Mega Drive version, but it's going to have an HD overhaul, so it's going to look even more sexy. So there's loads of screenshots around, and there's a teaser trailer, as I say, on YouTube. So just go check out on YouTube PS Solar HD teaser trailer and have a look, and it's looking very nice. So definitely one to watch out for when it hits later in the year. Next story, it's another retro franchise that's being revisited. And this is a franchise that, I'll be honest, I did never see getting resurrected, shall we say. It's a sequel, 20 years later, of that famous basketball kung fu mashup starring the one and only Shaquille O'Neal. Yes, Shaq Fu. Now, I don't know if anyone remembers Shaq Fu. I remember it. I remember playing it briefly, and I remember it being very bad. So it was very surprising to see to see it get a re-release. You know, it's done on a it's done on the sort of crowdsourcing platform Indiegogo, so it's been funded by fans who obviously wanted this game. So there's obviously fans of the original Shaq Fu game out there back in the day, and they raised 450,000. Sorry, just get my words out. $450,000, so nearly $500,000 to create a new version of the game in what they claim, quote unquote, what the original game should have been. So, i.e., not a steaming pile of shit. There's a couple of screenshots. It looks pretty cool. It doesn't look too different to a million other fighting games out there, but it looks cool. We shall see how it goes. But the developers Big D's production say they are very much aware of the game's tarnished reputation. Since its release on the Mega Drive and Super Nintendo, countless gamers have referred to the title as being the worst game of all time. That's not too far off, I would say. Whether or not this revival can fix Shaq's digital legacy remains to be seen. Well, we shall see. It's going to be. It looks like it's going to be a Streets of Rage style scrolling beat 'em up. So we'll see. We'll see how it goes. But apparently, if you donate $15 to the campaign, you'll secure a digital copy of the game yourself. While a slightly more generous $25,000 donation will land you a copy to have dinner with Shaq. Yes. So, yeah, rather bizarre one. I don't think anyone in a million years thought that Shaq Fu would get a sequel, especially in the modern era. But it appears that it is. So we shall wait and see. I've got another couple of stories for you. Next one is that Fez, the very, very popular Xbox Live Arcade game, which is okay, only a couple of years old, but certainly very retro in its heart and its style, is getting released for PS3, PS4 and Vita, and that is going to be coming out on March 25th. So not too long to wait. If you're a PlayStation gamer and you haven't played Fez yet, I would really recommend it when it comes out. We've mentioned it a few times on the podcast, but as yet, it's only been on the 360, so it will be interesting to see what sort of reaction is on the PlayStation. Obviously, it was very delayed on the Xbox, but it's a fantastic game. It's a very chilled out, very ambient game. You just kind of wander around and collect 3D shards of, you just go around and collect stuff. You chill. You don't really kill anyone. I'm sure you know all about Fez, but if it's a game that you were interested in picking up, but you couldn't because unfortunately it was on the 360 only, and you're a PlayStation gamer, then definitely you can grab it. So make sure you do on March 25th, if that's something that takes your fancy. There's a couple more stories. The next one is a new title, or a sort of reimagined title, recoded title, for the Speccy, for the ZX Spectrum. Yes, it is getting, or has got, an unofficial version of the NES classic Castlevania, which of course is one of the most iconic games of the 8-bit era. But the Speccy is getting a version of it. Not sure why this couldn't have happened back in the day. I suppose it's a Nintendo title and it was never likely to be licensed to the Speccy. But this all new version appears to be based more on the 1988 sequel to Castlevania, Simon's Quest, rather than the original game. Reason being is it has the inclusion of an interactive town at the beginning, like Simon's Quest, rather than the, as I say, original Castlevania. But whatever version of the game it's great that the Speccy's getting a version of it. The screenshots are, typically Speccy in their limited colour palette, but it's all part of the charm, isn't it, of the beloved Spectrum. Obviously, despite its limitations, compares to the like of the NES, particularly with the colour palette, it does look really good. It does look really, for a Spectrum, it doesn't look too bad at all. The essence of the game, basics of the game appear to be unchanged. And the visuals and the soundtrack are very, very true to the original NES, obviously with the specky styling to it. You can get a demo of this on the Retro Games Battle 2014 website. It's Retro Games Battle 2014, along with lots of other impressive releases. So the website has got a built-in emulator on it. Retro Game Battle 2014 has got a built-in emulator which allows you to jump straight into the action and have a go at the game. So worth checking out. As I like to say every week, I'm always a fan of the vintage consoles getting new titles and not just talking about re-releases for the newer consoles of vintage games. It's great to see a vintage console get a new game. So definitely, if you're a Spectrum emulator fan, then check out Castlevania. The last bit of news, which I definitely wanted to mention, and I hope we can get this podcast out in time before this, but Retro Collect, who are an awesome retro gaming website, which I'm sure a lot of listeners will be aware of, Retro Game Collect are holding an event in Leeds, so a little bit far from me and Ricky to attend, but they are holding an event in Leeds Town Hall on this Saturday, March the 15th. This Saturday, March the 15th. Get the dates right, Rob. They are holding a video game market. So this looks really cool. It seems to be quite a unique event and will basically replicate everything that we love about car boot sales, eBay, all that sort of thing. Just a huge hall filled to the brim with nothing but retro gaming, retro game sellers, people selling games, people selling consoles, merchandise, people showing off their collections. It looks like a fantastic idea, and if it wasn't so far away, because I'm actually off that day, I would definitely have gone, but unfortunately Leeds, I can't quite make it. So if any listeners out there are anywhere near Leeds and want to pick up some bargains, then get your asses down to Leeds Town Hall on March 15th and check it out. But there's more details on the Retro Collect website. If you do go, then let us know via the Twitter feed. We'd be interested to hear how it goes, because it does sound very, very cool. Okie doke, that's gonna round up the retro gaming news for this week. As I say, the modern gaming news we will leave until next time when Ricky returns. Apologies once again for the the technical errors, and well, I'll tell you what happened actually. Let's tell you what happened. Basically, we were recording, and we did about the first hour or so, and Ricky had some technical problems with Skype, so he had to log off, and about 20 minutes or so later we were back on and we were continuing. Unfortunately, one of my kids then basically woke up, and I couldn't settle him back down for a while, and by the time he'd settled it was nearly 11 o'clock, so it was just time to call it a night really. Unfortunately, since then, as I say, Ricky's away working, and I'm working lots of late shifts, so it's just not been possible to get us to bed together. But we didn't want to leave it another week before we get an episode out there, because we're trying to get these at least every couple of weeks. So thank you all, all you guys who are listening to this. And as I say, next time out there will be a proper episode with two hosts throughout. We have got some big news. I did sort of mention it on the Twitter feed, which of course is Control Zone Pod on Twitter. I did mention that we have got an announcement about a website in relation to the podcast. I'm going to hold that back until next episode. The site is up and running, but we're still putting some more content on it. and I really think it's probably best if we talk about it when we're all back together, and we can go into some more detail about what the site's going to contain. But some more details to follow on that next time. As I say, thanks again for listening. Don't forget, please add us on Twitter, follow us on Twitter. We're doing quite nicely now with approaching 300 followers, which is very, very cool. Thank you everybody who's following us. But it's Control Zone Pod, all one word, no underscores or anything on Twitter. And if you want to speak to me for whatever reason, I am Predaking79 on Twitter. That's PREDAKING79, and I'm also on YouTube with that username as well, where I do retro toy reviews. Not done any content for a few weeks on there, but I will be uploading some videos, I expect, in the next couple of weeks. If you're into retro toys, particularly Transformers, then please check out my YouTube channel. And Ricky, of course, is, I should say my gamer tag as well, which is ZKillerFrog, ZE space KILLA space Frog on Xbox Live Arcade. But yeah, Ricky, you can check him out on Twitter and Xbox Live and Steam and PlayStation Network, Ricky32. We also have a Control Zone YouTube channel, which has got a few of Ricky's reviews on there, and check that out as well. That's Control Zone Pod on YouTube. Okay, that's going to wrap up episode 7. Thank you very much again for listening, and I will be back with Mr. Ricky and possibly Simon, who knows, next episode. So until then, it's goodbye from me, and everyone else has already disappeared. So take it easy, guys, and see you next time. Bye bye for now.